Welcome back everyone to Beautiful Design Tutelage. This is Okay Daniel, and this is where we stopped in part 5 of this lesson. This is part 6. So we stopped at styling the header. As you can see, we've completely styled our header and we gave it a class of over and different classes there for active as well. Now we'll be moving to our main element. Can you see everything is just jam packed and everything are touching the sides of the browser. Today we will be styling our CSS along with our images. So let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to be doing now, as you've seen, we've styled every other thing here. The first thing I'm going to be styling next is our class. Yes, I gave our index.html in our main elements here. Can you see our main elements here? I gave it a class of home. You also can do the same, just put class home in front of it. So I gave it a class of home. Now I'll be styling home as a class. I remember I said a class is a specific way of telling a CSS what exactly you want it to style. So just to mention our home, we'll just put a dot first, then home. Okay, so I'll be putting my brackets the way I've always been doing, space between here and then dividing it. Okay, so now we have a class of home. What exactly do I want to style in my home section? I want to give it a padding. A padding is just like an invisible force field pushing every other element away from our text. So I'll be giving it a padding of 20 pixel, and that will be it for this home element. Then next I'll be styling now is our home, also home, but inside the home, what exactly I want to style is my unordered list. So I'll be styling my unordered list next inside my home class, then putting a division here. What do I need from my unordered list exactly? So I want to give it a margin. I'll be giving it a margin. Let's say margin left. So I want to give it a left margin. This is it here. Margin left. So I'll be giving it a variable of or a value of 20 pixel. Then I'll be giving a margin bottom. Margin bottom also I'll be giving it a value of 20 pixel. Let's make this 40 pixel so that it would see the effect on our page. The next thing I'm going to be styling now is our image section. So next time we'll be styling is our image section. But before we go there, let's go check out what we've done for these two styles we just added to our index.html. So as you can see, each of these texts are no longer touching the edges of the screen, and you can see that the welcome to Nate Automobile also isn't touching the head or the top of the screen. So now the next thing I'm going to be styling here is the images. I want to style my images section. So let's go to it. Can you see in our HTML, I also gave a div called a division, and I give it a class of image. Can you see I put div class and I put a class of image. Now, like I said, a class is a specific way of telling CSS what exactly you want to style. So now I'm telling CSS that what I want to style exactly is this figure element. Everything within this div is what exactly I want CSS to style. Can we see this is where the div ended? Everything within that scope is what I want CSS to style. So let's go back to our CSS and continue our styling. The next thing I'm going to be styling now is the image. So how do we do that? Putting our brackets, then dividing it. So I'll be making this a flex container. How do I do that? I'll just put display flex. A flex container means everything there inside the image section would be in a row, not in a column. But we are using our phone for this design, so everything will be shown in a column because the page or the browser, the phone we are using, is not as big as a laptop. If we were to be using a laptop, everything would be arranged in a column. So display flex, let's give it a gap. Let's say a gap of 20 pixel, or let's say 10 pixel. Then flex wrap, let's say because we've made it a flex container, we can wrap our text as well. So let's say flex wrap, can say a column here and then wrap. Wrap means everything on this page, if the browser isn't big enough to accommodate it in a column, it would just move to being in a row. I mean, if it isn't big enough to contain it in a row, it would move to a column. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to justify content. I'll be justifying my content. It's just a way of telling CSS that everything there should be moved to a certain direction. So justify content to center. Okay, so let's check out what we've done now. By clicking on index.html and clicking on the play icon, I can check out what I've done. Can we see everything now I've moved to being in a column? And why is that? Well, since we made a mistake somewhere in our CSS, flex wrap. Okay, so I think it is the way we set. So I think it is the way we set it. Remember, this is called a cascading style sheet. So it is just like a waterfall. The first thing CSS sees is not what it will choose to apply first. It is the last thing it sees it would apply first. So let's make a change to this. Let's move this justify content center. Let's move it to the second position here. Then the gap can still remain the same. Let's just put 20 pixel here, and then flex wrap can remain last. This is okay. Let's go check it out. Okay. As you can see now, we have it clearly seen. Like I said, cascading style sheet means it chooses the last thing first. So the last thing it sees is what it makes first. So as you can see, it is now wrapped. Let's go back to our style.css and continue styling our CSS. So the next thing I'm going to be styling now is still inside the image container. Still inside the image container, I'll be styling every images inside the image container. So let's style them now. Then dividing it. So I'll be making my width. The width of my image, I'll say width should be equals to 250 pixel. 250 pixel. Then I'll say my height should also be equal to, let's just say auto. So it depends on the size of the page. So the size of the page determines the height of my image. Then the last thing I will be using here is border radius. Border radius simply means how much should my image be bent. So the more radius I have, the more circle the image becomes. So let's just say border radius, let's give it a 50% just to check. So I want to make my images a circle or an oval shape, so I'll just be saying 50 percentage. Then let's go check it out now. We'll say that all our images should be in a circle or oval format. As you can see, each of them is in a circle or oval format now on our pages. So we don't really need something like that. What I need exactly is just something like 10 pixel. So let's go check it out now. As you can see, it just bent slightly on the page. So now we've styled our images folder. The next folder we are going to be styling now is our figure tag. So I'll just be writing figure. Remember, we used a figure to house our images, so I want to be styling the figure now. So let's style the figure tag. The next thing, so I'll just be saying text align. That is, I want to align all the text in the figure tag. I want to align them to the center. Let's say text align center. Then now I'll be styling my fig caption as well. Remember, a fig caption is the text under our image. So how do I style it? Putting my bracket as well, and then I'll be adding a margin. I'll say margin should be the margin at the top. Let's say the top margin should be about 5 pixel. Just put 5 pixel. And then the font size, 5 pixel. Then the font size, I'll just make it like something like 14 pixel. So 14 pixel. Now we've also styled our fake caption. Let's go check it out now. Can you see all text on the screen is centered now, and there is a space between the image and the text that we have on the screen. So our website is gradually becoming a real website. Let's go back to our style.css and continue styling. Okay, the next thing I want to style now, the next thing I'm going to be styling, that is, we'll be going back. The next thing I'm going to be styling is my heading. Can we see in index.html here, we have an heading which is welcome to Nate's Automobile. But when you look at the heading, we can see that there isn't much difference between the heading and the body of the text. So I want to style my heading now, and what I'll be doing to style the heading now is to also give it a class. Let's just say a class of, let's say, cars. Remember, we have one class before and it's car. Now I'll be giving it a class of cars. So let's just go there to style our class named cars. So let's just use somewhere here. Let's do it here. Then cars. Then we have a space and then our brackets. Then mist, we divide it. And then let's add a space here. So we want to style our cars now. So I'll be saying text, let's see, text align. I'll say center. Then I'll say width should contain 100% of the page. So width of 100%, 100 percentage, 100%. Okay, so now we have our cars. We've styled it now. What else do we need to style on this our cars element? Yes, we can also have something called an animation. So I'll just be forwarding or just be copying that there. You can copy it down later. So this animation simply means at the beginning, we have the opacity should be 0. The name of the animation is fade slide, which means it will just, the beginning text would slide in, and we say translate y 30 pixel, so it will just slide in within 2 seconds. So now we have a keyframe, which means at keyframes means the animation will start to, remember we say it started at 0 here, then we have to 1 here. So by the time it gets to 1, it would have been fully visible. So this animation is simply means at the beginning it will not be visible, but within 2 seconds time it would be visible on our screen. Let's go check it out. So oh, it didn't work actually. Let's go see what is our problem here. Okay, I can see our problem. We put title here instead of cars. That would be the only problem we could have here. Title instead of cars. So let's go check it out now whether we have a problem. Can you see what happened there? Welcome to Nate's Automobile. The moment I load my page, welcome to Nate's Automobile just slides in. So that is what we call animation in CSS. So now I want to increase the size of my text. Let's see, font size. I'll say 30 pixel. Let's check it out. It's become slightly bigger but not too noticeable. I will make it a little more bigger. So let's just say 40 pixel. Then let's check it again. Now can you see it has wrapped on the page? It has wrapped on the page. Imagine I tilted my page now. Let's tilt our screen. Can you see what happened there? By the time I load, it's just welcome to Nate's Automobile and the 3 images. Then we have our footer. We have our footer. Let's come back to full screen. Okay, so we can go back now. Now I want to style my footer. The last thing I'm going to be styling on this page is my footer. So we'll just be having something like footer, then a bracket. Okay, then we'll be dividing it. What do I want my footer to be? I'll say text align. I'll say center. I'll say background color. I'll give it a background color of 20 pixel. I mean gray. I'll give it a background color of gray. Then we can also have a margin to the top. That's I want nothing to touch my footer. I'll say 20 pixel, and then 20 pixel, and then I'll give it a padding. Yes, a padding of 20 pixel as well. Padding of 20 pixel. So now we've just made our footer. Let's just check it out now. Okay, so like we can see, when we load the page, we have welcome to Nate Automobile, and then okay, so the last thing I'm going to be styling here is my footer element. So let's just have a footer element. Then I'll be styling it by putting my brackets. Then inside the footer element, I want all my text to be aligned. Let's say text align center. Then we can say margin top. I don't want anything to touch my footer. There should be a space in between. Let's say margin, then top. Let's just give it a top margin of about 20 pixel. 20 pixel. Then a background color. Let's give it a background color so it will be clearly visible on the screen. Background color of gray. And the last, we should be giving a padding of about 20 pixel as well. So we have a background of about 20 pixel. So let's go check out our index.html now. Can you see the footer? We have copyright Nate 2026. So now we are done with our website. This is part 6, finishing of part 6 of creating a Nate Automobile website from scratch. But first, before we leave, I don't think I love this gray on my orange, so I'll first go change that now in my style.css. So let's look for where we add gray. Okay, so this is it. This is where we add gray, so I'll just be making it white. I think white should go better on that. So let's go check out our index.html to see how well it worked. Yes, and it worked very well for me. So I prefer white on this kind of page. Let's tilt our screen to see what we've done. So now we have home page. When you click on it, it turns black, and we have Nate Automobile here. Welcome to Nate Automobile. When you load your page, it smooths in, and we have our unordered lists down here. We also have images here, and we have a border radius around them, and our text is clearly centered beneath the image. Also, we have something here, we deliver worldwide, and we have a footer, copyright Nate 2026. So this is a basic website for a car company. If you were viewing it from a laptop point of view, it would be better, but this phone is also very good. So thank you for watching. Come back next time for more tips like this from web development, and the next video I'm going to be talking about is the HTML. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking all about HTML and all the tags. This one, I created it for Nate Automobile. So thank you.